Nicolas, I'm so happy to see you, man.
Horacio, I'm so happy to see you.
Been a while, and I've had this idea for a while to have a conversation with you from male belly dancer to male belly dancer.
And I'm so accepted because, you've been one of my first, not one of my first, my first role model in this belly dance community. And you are still, I'm so honored because you're giving this opportunity to talk to you. And for me, it's something really big. You know that.
Well, the respect and admiration is mutual, and I think I've had this thought for a while to have this conversation because I think that it's going to be very interesting for the people that have been studying with you, that have been following you, to know a little bit more about the inside because sometimes you go to take a workshop, you take the class, you take the choreography, and you think, oh, it's a good dancer, but it's still not going inside of what the artist is like. So I have prepared a series of questions and subjects that I want to talk about, like costumes, choreographies, how you get ready, and all that. But before that, for the viewer, let's go back to the beginning. How
Oh.
you, when you were beginning with the Oriental dance, were you a child? Were you a teenager? How did it all begin? Please.
Actually, this whole thing was were born with me. Being a dancer, you know that. Since I remember myself, I was always dancing. I was listening to music and moving my body, whatever it was. And my first memory, it's I'm dancing when I'm child around house with my parents, listening music because we Greeks have the music and the party all the time in our mentality, which means that I grow up in a family who had a lot of music in it. So I started dancing. And in the beginning, I started very early, like at the age of, I don't remember, like 8 or 9 with Greek folkloric dances. And I was dancing Greek folkloric dances. I was born and grow up in a place in Greece, which is exactly the border of Greece and Turkey.
Ah,
So I had a lot of influences from the music because we have television of from Turkish channels. The music, actually, Turkish music is based on Arabic music. So I had my first, um, how should I say, inspiration thing from the music. Actually, the music and the sound, it was what exactly guided me to be a belly dancer, oriental dancer. It's the correct way to say.
yeah, yeah, I know. I also use the term belly dance because sometimes if you say Oriental dance, people don't know
Yes,
what it is.
we
I
live in Europe.
say,
We can
okay,
say
Oriental belly dancer, but and I know what
it's
you
the
mean,
same.
Oriental dance. That's so interesting.
So I started with belly dancing professionally when I was 20 years old. And because before we had no schools, no teachers, nobody and no one to be influenced. And at that time, when I left my homeland and moved to Thessaloniki for studies. I started the research of this music and searching around the world this music, I found a VHS of you teaching Shamadan, Sagat, and choreography, Oriental choreography. And actually, you were the first ever teacher I had. I studied through the VHS, the video, because I had no opportunity to find belly dance teachers in Greece. Actually, I consider us the old generation of the Greek dancers, of Oriental dance. It's kind of weird, but before we haven't had belly dancers and belly dance scene in Greece.
Ah, well,
Mm.
I'm happy to hear that, really, but the this is about you.
I know, but this is the truth. I can lie to you. You were the first dancer I study and teacher because I had this VHS. You created a series of this teaching recording. It was it was something big at that time. I mean, it was 25 years ago. 25 years ago,
Yes.
and I start with this. And actually, my first teacher, she was a girl, she was living in Germany, and she was already belly dancer, but she's Greek. And when I met her in this period, she also recommended some Egyptian teachers like Momo Kadus
Yeah.
back at that moment. And of course, again, I have to refer you because you you were there and you were already big teacher. So I studied this style. And actually, why I say that, I keep saying that because I have some influence from two or three male belly dancers all these years, and the elegance of stage and the combining of classical dance with the oriental dance and the whole fairy tale thing around it, the presentation you had, it was something that it was very close to my taste.
Ah,
And then I start with the folklorics and all the other stuff because I start traveling. We were bringing some teachers in Greece to have classes. It was something like we were beginners in this oriental dance scene. We were just dancing in small stages in Greece, like weddings, bouzoukia, nightclubs with a live orchestra,
yes.
and some events. We haven't had theaters or shows or workshops or festivals.
This came
So
later. This came later.
yeah, it was really, how should I say it? It was really very self working around this thing to do this thing for reality because I was looking for inspirations. Back then, it was no YouTube, no nada.
Yes, that's
So it was kind of weird when you are in a country that has no belly dance scene to find your way through this. But I was so in love with the sound and the music. And this guide me through this dance and I start learning, of course, and at the same time I was performing everywhere. I was creating some mini groups from girls. They were no male dancers, male belly dancers then, back then. They started around there like 2005 because it was kind of fashion, and there were some Arabic clubs around Greece, and they were dancing. But it was this, it was entertaining thing with swords and symbols and something like that.
And tell me, when you began, what was the reaction of your family, your father, your mother? How did they accept or not accept your choice of becoming a dancer?
Well, actually, I'm the only child in the family. And thank God I grow up with two parents. They respect me a lot and they know what child they have. So they knew that I am artistic soul and they let me through life to find my way. So, of course, they accept it. And I think they're proud of me in general because I always do something, and whatever I do, even it's dance or work or meeting people or relationships with people, friendship, I always respect people, and the respectness is the first of all for me. So
Great,
my parents, they had no problem with that, even if it was something new for them, but they knew their child, so they accept it. It's very easy. I never wait. I don't wait the acceptance from my parents because I already have it.
great, wonderful.
That was very good for me because they push me more to have, to have more self confidence to do this thing. Because being a male Oriental dancer in Greece back then, 25 years ago, it was kind of weird. Of course, people they enjoy to see this show, but it was kind of weird when you introduce yourself. What do you do for a living? I'm a dancer. What kind of dancer? Latin dancer? No, belly dancer. Wow.
I tell you, I can relate. That's why I thought, from one male dancer to another, we share something that the women don't have. They don't have this situation because Oriental dance is expected to be a beautiful woman dancing with the veil, and then everybody knows
And moving hips and all this
suddenly,
sexy thing.
yeah, suddenly it's a man, and then you are confronted with all uh, this situation. So I was so curious to know what your perspective is about it. And
And,
then,
and
so you were born at the border of Turkey. So
Mm,
obviously you have this influence because I've seen dances where you're teaching the Turkish dance. So I was wondering where
yes.
that was coming from. So it's very familiar for you.
I started with the Turkish style because I had some views from some dancers from Turkey, from the television, but they were dancers like, of course, legendary dancers of Turkey like Nesrin Topkapi, Tulay Karaca, like this kind of dancers. And back then, I think it was very famous. It was Tanyeli, Asena,
Yeah.
and I had these influences back then. But of course, I was searching. I'm a real searcher. I start immediately ballet classes because I wanted to be the best. I mean, I started ballet classes when I was like 25 years old. I was already,
Adult.
old enough.
Well,
But
not
I
all,
wanted to
but
give the push.
for ballet is hard
Yes.
at that age.
But give me another perspective in this dance, and I realize, of course, during this trip, this travel, this dream, that the base for everything it's the classical dance, of course.
Yes, so you've had quite an education in dance. Now about your style, because I see the Turkish, but I also see Egyptian. So you've been obviously also inspired and influenced by the Egyptian style. Am I right?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
How can I be not? I'm
yes,
teaching Egyptian dance. I,
yes.
I I should be, but it's not 100% my thing. Totally Egyptian style. This is how I feel. I'm always dancing uh, when I like to be danced, and when I like to dance this song, I like to dance this song. I don't care if it's Turkish or ethnic or Egyptian. The music guides me always where I want to go. So I combine this. I think I don't know. It depends from the others' respective what they see on me, but I think my style. It's my style. It's a combination from some styles. It's not that I'm copying somebody. Of course, I had influences, as I told you, but as far as my concern is my influence, it was about the eleganceness, the lines, the great presentation on stage, the incredible technique,
Beautiful.
everything. That was my study in a male dancers. And actually, I've got some stuff. Always, you get some stuff or technique from other dancers, even from female dancers. But on stage, I'm teaching for women, and I'm teaching very woman style. But I don't dance like that. This is weird. The most of the dancers, of male dancers in our community, dancing and teaching the same way. I'm dancing so different on stage, and I'm teaching so different on
I see
class.
that. I see that because I was going to talk to you about vocabulary of dance. You have a very extended vocabulary of steps, and I see that you teach the women really to bring the best of them and beautiful feminine style. And when you perform, you're very strong. And I was wondering if there are certain steps that you teach to the women that you yourself don't want to do.
Yes, for example, for me, I want to cover all this, the whole stage, and I want to dance. When I dance, I want to fly. I don't go on stage to dance ballady. Maybe I combine ballady with something else. I don't go to stage to dance, for example, shabby. I don't use so many omis and so many figure eights in my perspective of dance when I'm dancing, when I'm choreographing myself. But I use a lot for my students.
Yes.
I don't use so many feminine things with the hands when I'm dancing. I try my hands to be on line with lines and everything because I feel this power. But when I'm teaching, I can rock my hands and everything to teach. How should I teach to a woman? Because when I'm teaching, I want to give what I know to somebody to get it and make it for itself.
Yes. Very strong. And I was watching that you have a very beautiful. I wanted to talk a little bit about your costumes because you see, the ladies, they have all kinds of platforms where they can get costumes in any color, in any size, from China, from Egypt, from everywhere. But for the men, there is no such shop. So we have to make it ourselves or go to a tailor. Do you have a tailor you live in Thessaloniki, right?
Yes,
You
yes,
have a
yes.
tailor in Thessaloniki that makes your costumes, or you go to Egypt? How do you do this?
Actually, at the beginning, I had some costumes from Turkey, from Bella,
Ah, yeah, of course.
of course, back then, like 20 years ago. But very, very early, I found my costume designer. Now she's my very, very good friend. She's always like 20 years, she's sewing and designing the costumes for me. She's Calliope Anido. I always refer to her because she's not just that she's sewing and making my costumes. She's she's loved when she's doing my costumes. I mean, um, she can't wait to make costumes for me because for her it's something great, and she knows exactly what I want, and she give me exactly what is good for me. Sometimes I think that something different or something else maybe is good for me, but she knows exactly what is best for me, and that's how I created my style.
And
And
tell
I
me,
had also influences from my costumes, from two dancers, from two male dancers.
because I see also that you have a very strong palette of colors. I see you wearing red, black, strong
Yes.
colors. I don't see you wearing pastels or anything like that. It's
Yeah, because I feel like that.
that you feel.
Because of the dark hair and white, skin, these colors looks good on me. And also, I like the strong colors, like the imperial colors. My
Beautiful.
inspiration goes there. So I like this red. I like the black. I like the blue, the green. Pastel colors. It's not me. Even now, I wear black and white. It's not my character.
And when you begin your entree, I've seen that you wear a kind of a jacket, a beautiful jacket, and then
I like the cape.
at the waistline it opens up into a big, like a half circle, big circle.
Mhm.
This is very Nicholas. This is you. You came with, yeah. How did you get the inspiration for that? Because it's very effective.
Actually, first I used to have some kind of capes like a prince,
Yes.
but they didn't work exactly how I want to work on stage. I didn't want to dance with veil. I never dance on stage with veil. I think it's very feminine.
No.
Not being racist or something, I'm not. I'm against all of this. I'm very free spirit. I love Buddha, as you can see, but I don't like myself dancing on veil. It needs a softness and something different in my mind.
Yes.
I wanted something very strong for stage, and Calliope's inspiration was from ancient Greek or Roman warriors,
Uh-huh.
something like that. So she has this inspiration, and to be honest, I also loved so much the cape with the circle, and I got this idea from Amir Taleb.
Ah, yes, yes. He's great from Argentina.
Yes, and the boots, of course,
Yeah,
and the boots.
yes. Looks
And
very.
nobody, this is totally Amir Taleb style, totally. And everybody from Argentina, working like that and dancing with boots, it's from Amir Taleb style. But in Europe or in general in this area, nobody did that. But also Egyptians in folkloric have boots.
Yes,
It was also inspiration from Egyptians.
yes.
And I also have two very strong inspirations from your costumes. One, yes, of course. I don't know if you ever see them, but I had, and also some lines and some sewing style. For me, I want my costume to be very powerful, manly, and very suiting on me. If I feel great on the costume and I feel beautiful inside in the costume, I can perform as I want.
Of course. So now that we are touching the subject of costumes and your performance, when you prepare, say you have a show, I know you have a big show tomorrow in
Yes,
Thessaloniki, so good luck.
yes, it's
Have
been
a-
a while. I haven't been dancing in Greece because I'm dancing outside, but it's Royal Theater. It's something I wanted to do it, so it's the time. And tomorrow is the show, and I'm dancing with my a new group I created this year. So this is very inspirational for me.
So on a day like tomorrow, you say you have the performance about 8 o'clock, something like this?
Yes, 8 o'clock.
Well, what is your day like on a day like tomorrow?
The day tomorrow, it started 2 weeks ago. Yes, taking care of my nutrition as always, going to the gym, taking care of my body and everything, even my haircut and everything. We always prepare ourselves for stage like maybe 20 days before, harder because always we take care of ourselves, but especially when we have to go on stage. My costume is ready, choreographies are ready, general rehearsals are already done. My students are ready, but tomorrow we are going to meet at the morning. We have some rehearsals, then we have makeup, hair, all together, some relaxing time, and we go to the theater. Actually, I'm going to spend with my students the day tomorrow, and then because I want to make them feel ready for the stage, the most of them are going for the first time on stage. So, yes.
Very exciting.
And I have everything ready because I used to have ready everything. My closet has everything, my costumes that are ready to put it on. And we always need makeup, we always need make our hair, we always need some stuff in our bag before and after. But this is the whole procedure has its own beauty, you know,
Yes.
to preparing to go on stage. And of course, warm up and go on stage.
And you make a long warm up or a short warm up?
Actually, usually I make a long warm up because I'm dancing at the end of the show, so I have a lot of time. I don't like it to be at the end because it's too stressful for me. But since the show starts, I'm always ready because I want to be always ready. So I'm stretching, dancing, turning, singing. I'm doing all the stuff before. So I have 1 hour warming up myself.
I understand that. And you just mentioned nutrition because for some dancers, nutrition plays a very important part, and for others, it doesn't mean anything. For me personally, I think that nutrition and dance are not separate from each other. It's a part of life. For a
Yes.
dancer, you have to eat a certain way. What is your approach to nutrition and your health?
Actually, about nutrition, I love the Mediterranean diet. I'm a follower of the Mediterranean diet. I mean, I eat a lot of vegetables, I eat fish, I eat all this kind of Mediterranean diet. Sometimes, of course, I eat some things are not good for our health, some sweet or ice cream or everything, but it's good for our happiness. But usually, I cook my food
Oh,
and
yes.
I try to eat natural food,
Good.
not processed food, all the years of my life because I was grow up in a country place in a village. My grandmother has vegetables on the yard and chickens, so I was eating chicken and egg back then from our chickens. So I used to have this kind of nutrition. So I follow all these years this nutrition, but usually before I go to stage, I'm kind of tighter in my nutrition. I cut some carbs
Um,
because
and
I want to feel more, energetic.
and I know you visit the fitness studio, right? You go to
Yeah,
fitness.
I go to fitness. Yes, I go 3 times a week, maybe four. It depends, but I have also 3 or 4 times a week my classes, and I'm dancing with my students the whole time
Yeah, so
because
you're
I want to be. Yes, I'm all the time. I want to dance. I want to dance with them because I really enjoy it. I enjoy these two specific places: the stage, the theater stage, and the classroom with my students. This
yes.
is my very, very important parts of this work.
And there's something else I wanted to ask you about. You have tomorrow a performance on a big stage. And
Yes.
sometimes we are invited to perform in a club or maybe on a birthday party or something like that. So there's a difference. When you go tomorrow to your performance, the audience is coming, they go to see Nicolas, they know you, they know what's coming. And when you go, you get invited to perform at some club or at some party for some company, sometimes people don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
What is the difference between how you feel when you perform on a stage for the normal Oriental dance audience and when you perform in a place where people don't know that you're coming out? And
Yes.
what
It's
is
not
the
our audience. It's not our.
what is the reaction of the people when they see you, and how do you feel as a man coming for these people?
Actually, I stopped performing outside, unless if it's a theater or a festival, many years now. I mean, like, I stopped before COVID, like 1 or 2 years, to clubs and bars and all this stuff. I didn't
Really?
want to go
Really?
anymore.
You stopped?
Yes, I stopped dancing in these kind of places. Even I had some offers, but I said I want to stop in this kind. It depends. If it's a if I've been invited in a big event with a stage and people who knows what they're gonna see, it's okay. But to go just for entertaining, I did this like almost 20 years, like 15 years, 20 years. So I think it's enough. I don't go anymore in this kind of performances like the last 5, 6, maybe 7 years, not anymore. Um, and I try hard to be, I am one of the people here in Greece that we try to make this dance respectable, put it on theater. 15 years ago, nobody was doing theater, Oriental Dance Festival on theater. I did it first because I wanted to give this quality, and people they didn't know that a belly dance show can be presented on theater and it's going to be super amazing,
Yes.
because the perspective they had, it was, as we said before, the dancer on club and blah 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 and all this. It's another conversation, this part.
Yes.
Of course, I did it when I was younger, when I was very very young boy. I did it, I was dancing, I had just the feeling to dance everywhere. Of course, the reaction of the people, sometimes it was weird, but it was not the majority. The most of the people, they were enjoying watching me dancing on stage, on their table, on the bar, Greek
Yeah, yeah,
style.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. But I was representing this style like that. When I was doing an agreement with the owner of the bar or the club, I said, my first show is going to be there with lighting and my presentation. And then I'm going to go to the people, but not immediately. First, I'm presenting myself on the people. They just have to see that I'm a real artist. I can dance on stage alone, and then they can enjoy also my presence next to them. So I try hard to do that. I did it. I think I make it. I made it. And now things are so different because we work a lot. We did festivals, stages, and all this stuff. You and Beata were invited in my festival,
Yes, I remember
12
it was
years ago. Yes,
wonderful.
um, it was something amazing. Even this year, it was first time it was my mother saw me on stage.
Really?
Yes, yes, it was 12 years ago. She never saw me live. It was the first time.
And so tell me, so I understand that you say you don't want to dance in these clubs anymore because I know for me was this experience was also not so great. But did you ever have something really strange happen to you that where you thought, oh no, this is a nightmare? Um, can you remember something like that, something bad that happened to you
um,
during a
I
show or in a situation like that?
uh, Something very, very bad, no, because as a character, as a personality, I'm very delightful. So I try to have a conversation or to not. I'm not a troublemaker as a person. Of course, I'm a strong character, but usually I have very good communication with the people, and I want to give my energy to the people so they can enjoy the night on the club, not just to present myself. But I have to go back like 20 years ago. I was performing in a big nightclub with a live music in a small city out of Thessaloniki. I've been invited to dance on a table, on a big table with a lot of people around. They put me on the table to dance for them, and they're tipping me. This is
Yes, yes.
also something that we get more. Women get more, but okay, they did it also in us. And it was a guy, one of the whole company, like 20 people. They said, "Come down, or get away! Don't dance in front of my face," something like that. But all the others, they got him and they put it aside and they shut up. We invited him on to dance with us. So it's the maybe this is the most hard thing I have to remember. But usually I didn't. I don't know. I think I didn't allow something like that. And if I was watching the audience, it's kind of cold or weird. I was changing place and I was dancing somewhere else. I
Very
try to avoid the trouble.
well. And what about? I wanted to ask about your repertoire because you have, of course, your classic entree with your beautiful cape, and then you have. I've seen you have a Saidi. You have
Mhm.
also Turkish, and recently you did something in Los Angeles where it had something to do with the Greek culture, the
Yes.
Apollo. Tell me about that. That's very interesting.
Well, this the whole organizing thing has been organized from a Greek dancer. She's living 50 years in Los Angeles, and she's a great name there. She's Greek. She was born in Greece, but she moved there, and she had a dream. We know each other like 15 years, and every time we communicate, but never had the opportunity to dance together. And it was 3 years ago when she said to me, "I want to do a theater with you in Los Angeles because I know you dance on theater. I saw your festivals, your work. I admire your work. I want to do it." And I said, "Let's do it." But I said, "What is just the theater? Everybody's doing theater. Okay, just you dance Saidi, you dance Baladi, you Shabi, you Mejanse. It's okay." No, we have to do something different. And the whole thing, it was inspired from goddess and goddesses
Ah,
from ancient history from all over the world. And I was represented the god Apollo.
yes. Wow, sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Now, there's another question that I wanted to ask you. What do you think is the impact of Oriental dancing in your area? You think that, or your students, you think you have some students that have been dancing with you for a few years. Do you see them being impacted in a positive way, that they change, that they make them more, self-confident, good energy, something about the dance on a personal level for the students?
Actually, it works a lot. I mean, it's a very, very good therapy for soul dancing, as you know, as we all know. I have students all these years. I have very loyal students. I have every year new students. And I have students from every range of age. I mean, I have students, but I don't do in minors. I do from 80 plus. Yes. I don't do little girls. I prefer a little girl it has to have a little girl as a teacher, like 20 years old teacher. For me, this is my opinion. But usually now middle age change. There is no middle age. I think women in Oriental dance have no age, especially women,
Yes.
not men. Men, maybe we have some age in the dance, but women have no age, are ageless. I so admire these dancers and these women. They are 70 plus and still go on stage. This is amazing. It's amazing because because now things are changing. Maybe after 30 years, people, they still dancing still until 100. I don't know.
Yes. And
Why not?
Nicolas, I see you have the Buddha behind you. So
Yes.
there is something you want to say to your people, to your or the viewers about your spiritual perspective in life.
Actually, my spiritual perspective is very close to Buddha's perspective. I like peace in my life. I like giving and taking, and I like an equality. I mean, if people have respect to each other and respect to each other as equals, not male, female, rich, poor, or everything, things can be different. I hope that Buddha or God or whatever he believes, everybody, every person, it's about them. I hope they guide them to see the light, because the light is inside of us. We have to find it.
Thank you so much, Nicolas. I've been so looking forward to this conversation, and I thank you for your time. And I have to tell you, I admire you and respect you and salute you from male belly dancer to male belly dancer, and wish you great success tomorrow. Have a great time. And yeah, well, let's stay in touch.
Thank you so much. Thank you for from this conversation, I would say, because I feel so comfortable with you. For me, it's something big, because I'm gonna say again, you were my first role model ever, and I'm so proud of it, because I have your eleganceness in my dance,
Well,
and I love it. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to this community, because if you didn't do that, I think you are the more deserved person. You have to do this you're doing now.
thank
Thank
you.
you. I'm so delightful to be part of it.
Thanks a lot. So then we should do this again. This was a lot of fun. And
Of course,
Dad
of
and I
course.
are thinking about visiting Greece. Maybe we go to Corfu or Thessaloniki and we come and visit you.
Maybe we can dance again together. Why not?
Great, why not? I would love it.
Yes, me too.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
See you next
Kisses to
time.
Beata.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye bye.